Hello and welcome to the second channel where the content can be anything, and this time I finally remembered I'm supposed to also be making FF14 videos sometimes, so we're gonna do a low-effort, one-take analysis of the 7.4 trailer. This will be spoilers for all of the game up through 7.3, including major pieces of side content, because there's a lot of that stuff in this trailer. Yeah. If you're watching this and you don't know who I am, first off, I meant to say who I am, not who I damn, but because this is a one-take, low-effort trailer analysis, you're getting the full flub, and the full explanation of the flub. But, I'm Luxon. I usually make videos on the Xeno series, so that is Xenogears, Xenosaga, and Xenoblade Chronicles, and Xenogears was published by Square. They should put a collab with Xenogears in FF14. I'll actually buy something from the cash shop if they do that. Wouldn't that be crazy? Anyway, I'm not as knowledgeable on FF14 as I am about any Xeno game, so we're gonna see how well I do at this. I'm not expecting to get any predictions right, and I'm expecting to get a lot of things specifically wrong. But, that's okay. Fair warning, I was not a fan of base Dawn Trail and 7.1 MSQ, so I'm going to be a bit critical of that during this video, most likely, but I did like 7.2 quite a bit and 7.3 quite a lot, so that doesn't mean I don't have high hopes for this story. And I'm obviously going to be like going in with an open mind and expecting things to happen. I'm just going to compare things favorably to the parts of Dawn Trail I didn't like, basically, is how we're doing this. Also, Xeno fans, do not be alarmed by the fact that I haven't uploaded a Xeno video in 3 weeks, and now there's a non-Xeno video on a different channel. By the time you're watching this, there will be a video done, complete, uploaded for patrons and channel members that you will be able to see in a few days. So, with that done, I think we can just kind of begin. We are watching the UK version, because that's the version that showed up when I googled 7.4 trailer. Anyway, putting a bit of emphasis on Arcadion this time, but hold on. There we go. I'm at least going to pause it on a frame that isn't black for once. That's probably a good idea. Which, I mean, that's fair. I don't want to say that, oh, a lot of people don't like the MSQ right now, so they're not having confidence in the MSQ, and that's why a lot of the trailer and the poster are very heavily raid-based. I think it's just that this is the climax of the normal raid arc, and I have a feeling the MSQ is going to be relatively low-key this time, because we haven't had the first FanFest, so we know nothing about the new expansion. They can't tease too much about that quite yet. And we just got off the climax, because we're going back to the original formula that they skipped in Endwalker. 7.3 was the true climax of Dawn Trail. So this kind of has to be low-key and set up by definition, because they can't play their hand too much with regards to the foreshadowing for the next expansion. So most of the hype moments and aura in this patch are going to by necessity come from the Arcadian, regardless of how good the MSQ itself is. This is a surprisingly good expansion for Elizin. Like, yeah, we won heavily with the graphics update. I'm sorry, I'm probably peaking my mic a lot more. I need to back away a bit further from that. There we go. But like, I wasn't expecting 2 of them in one raid tier. That's genuinely impressive. We take those. Anyway, that is almost certainly M11. Alright, I'm gonna be real with you, I don't know where this is. We've done destroyed city backgrounds before a lot. But like, alright, hold on. Okay, good, my cursor is visible. This looks like a living memory terminal. And that doesn't look like regular fire in the background. It looks vaguely digital and gold tinged. So maybe something will happen in living memory again. Or we're going to visit somewhere like outside the playable area of living memory where something is going on and that leads into something MSQ related. I don't know. I have a feeling we might be exploring more of the 9th shard, like outside the immediate vicinity of living memory. So that would be kind of neat. The golds, I guess, could also be like dimensional stuff from the key, because that kind of used a similar orange color as well. Though there's some correlation and causation here. Living memory might have similar effects because of the key or vice versa. Anyway, though, develop city in the background. This could also technically, like, this could be a raid something somewhere. I guess, like, this could be a raid arena. The 3 we've seen so far don't match it at all, but futuristic city is not out of the realm of possibility. Like Wicked Thunder literally did something similar to this too. But yeah. And then we've got all the fighters. I mean, not really all the fighters. We've got everyone we know of from this tier so far, combined with 2 people from last tier. So I'm guessing there are a few more people just off screen. All right, hold on. Gonna have to pause here because we got Catgirl and Tube. And I'm gonna need to pull up something in another window just so I can read this off properly. There we go. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is a 2D22 action role-playing game developed by Monolith Soft and published by Nintendo for the Nintendo Switch. It is an installment in the open-world Xenoblade Chronicles series, itself a part of the larger Xeno franchise. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 depicts the futures of the world featured in Xenoblade Chronicles 2010, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 2017, and concludes the trilogy's narrative. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I don't know what this is about, though. Like, we have Eutrope in the pod. This could be for a whole number of reasons. Like, is this to stave off the disease thing that I don't remember the name of and I kept mispronouncing when reading it in my head anyway, so I'm not going to be too hard on myself for not getting it correctly? Is this a clone? Is she getting brainwashed? I'm pretty sure, like, all the Arcadian fighters are going to get brainwashed because of something we'll see later on, but I think it's through their regulators and not through something like this. Also, she seems to be like a very mansion-y background. So is this just the high rank fighter special quarters they get? And this is literally the bed she sleeps in? Is this something related to the president we haven't seen yet? Or like, this is gothic enough where it could have something to do with the succubus lady as well, maybe. Also, worth noting, we don't know how much of the Arcadian story is kayfabe or not yet. Like, this entire thing could be made up. I wouldn't even be mad at that. And it would still make complete sense because we're just doing pro wrestling. Again, we got another shot of a very concerning and messed up city. This one also has moon. So we got Fire City, and we got Moon City. Now, are these from the same shot? Are these different shots from the same cutscene or some other occurrence? We got Aurora Borealis. Is this like an actual shard of the source though? Because the moon is not that close. But then again, maybe something happened to draw the moon of a different shard closer to the planet. We know as a fact already that the moon got sundered too. So what's going on with that? It is the same city as the other shot though, so it could be a day to night. Maybe like, hold on, can I find the other city? Yeah. Maybe this is the power of the key or something else going off, and that draws the moon closer. And we're just in the rest of the ninth. Like, we haven't, I don't remember. Have we seen the moon in the ninth? Give me a second. I'm going to teleport to living memory, hope it's nighttime, and see if I can find the moon. Anyway, though, I don't really want them to repeat bad guy wants the shard of Zodiark or the ether from that. But I guess it's possible. I mean, like, it's not the void. So, okay, it is daytime. So we're gonna come back to that later, I think. Anyway, this is a very, very cool art. Yeah, it's cool. We know 3 fights from this tier. Are we going to complete the hat trick of Brute Bomber fights? And is the elf guy actually going to be the final fight? I kind of doubt it, but it would be really funny, and I also wouldn't complain about that. Alright, this is our new dungeon. You know what I should do? Why don't I have the 7.4 special site open so I can cross-reference certain things? That, I think, is a very good idea. I am such an intelligent content creator. Wow. Aha. Yes. Woohoo. Okay, turns out we did need to make one cut there. Forgot that my new tab on Chrome, which is not my main browser right now, still doxes myself. So that's cool. Anyway, though, I don't remember what's shown off in the trailer, but yeah. So we'll discuss more about this later. But we're finally getting the Cryo character development here, so that's neat. It looks like we're getting to do a lot of Malala stuff. I'm 100% here for it. I'm so sad Cryo got shafted, and it looks like we're doing other things with, like, I guess preservation and the present day people carrying on the legacy of Cryo's parents. Because, like, we got these guys. I don't think those are player accessible hair colors, so I think these are definitely people from the 9th. Anyway, the dungeon is called Mistwake, and it says that we are descending to a long-lost land shrouded in mist and mystery. Seems to me that we're taking these Mistwake passages and we're going to end up in this, again, old Alexandrian-looking area. Now, thankfully, this isn't another let's go through the antagonist's memories dungeon, because it seems like this is physically a settlement, and there are real people there, because we got real people there at the bottom of this. Now, it's called Into the Mist. We're descending. Descending out of the mist is more a Final Fantasy III than Final Fantasy IX thing. But I think what we're doing is Trano, which was a city in Final Fantasy IX that is referred to as the City of Nobles or the Dark City. I believe, if I remember correctly, it is specifically located it's underneath like a shelf of something. I don't remember like exactly why, like geographically why, but it is shrouded in darkness at all times. So part of me thinks, all right, we're leaving Living Memory and going elsewhere, out into the 9th, and there happens to be another city under a dome, and like Mistwake is the access tunnel to get there. But it's also possible that Trano is just a hidden city underneath Solution 9 in some way. Double checking, it is still daytime in Living Memory. But yeah, that's what I think we're doing here. If it's not like directly a reference to Trano, and the gimmick there is that everyone's poor or a noble, there's no middle class. Just like a secret Malala city shrouded in darkness that's at least named after it, and it has preservation people. That just makes sense. Anyway, Sphene is staying on as a trust member for now, which is very welcome. I was not expecting that. I'm glad she's not immediately getting leader zoned. And I mean, hey, I'm a Sphene enjoyer. I like her. That's a good character. Technically, there's nothing tying her to staying in Tyrol or Alexandria or anywhere right now. She could come with us. Like, we could do an entire thing with, hey, her and Graha are technically, like, very long-lived rulers of a land that no longer needs their guidance to prosper, so they can bond over that and, like, broaden their horizons by going on adventures with us. That would be neat. That's a character beat. I think they are going to leader zone Wukelmot for a bit after 7.5. Just, like, okay, yeah, it's a lease scenario. She might just be getting leader zoned because it's a lease scenario, but also completely fine to just put her on the back burner until they can figure out a different way to approach the character that more people will resonate with. Like, yeah, I'm not a particularly big Wukelmot fan, in the sense that Estelle Bright did it better 20 years ago, but like my not being a Wukelmot fan is from the perspective of there is nobody more disappointed that the 6'5" buff lion woman shonen protagonist didn't land with me than me. So like I'm very happy to see her again in the future. It doesn't seem like she's even doing a lot in this patch, but she could show up later. I'm gonna make another video that's like actively predicting the location and concept behind the next expansion, where I also talk about things I liked a lot in 7.2 and 7.3, and a lot of that is going to be talking about it seems like they tried to set up Woklamat to have like a specific backup us role that they like. It was really cool at the end of 7.3. And like that was the first time where it felt like they actually successfully used her in that way. But based on what I really want them to do for 8.0, the idea of making Woklamat the person who does insane Warrior of Light things when we're not around, I think is a good position for her character to grow. And if she has the development to do that off screen, I think that would be a cool way to have her come back in the future. But it looks like she's not going with us this time, which, like, fair enough. We're either exploring a shard, which she barely did, okay, I mean, like, Sphene and Kryl didn't really do that much either, but we're going far away from Tuliolal this time, so it makes sense that she's not with us. Or she is with us and they just didn't show her, but it doesn't look like she is.
Keeper of the key.
I'm also very bad at telling voices, and there are no official subtitles here. So besides Kryl and being able to immediately suss out when the succubus Elizin is talking because she's on screen, I'm not actually sure who's doing the voiceover for this trailer, because I can't tell if this is someone we know or not. Like, I know when Kryl speaks later, but, like, okay. My first guess is because it's someone who I can immediately recognize, who knows about the key. I'm guessing it's that Milala. Because who else would know about the key who we haven't really met already, you know? That's how I'm justified. Maybe it's just some other random Fodder Oblivion member that shows up and says a few things. But who would refer to us with deference as Keeper of the Key, other than someone who's researched the key in the past and has never actually met us before? Anyway, we got a behemoth down here. Kryl looks winded, so alright, that's a trash pack. We got Living Liquid, we got Baja Blast Bird. Yeah, so this has to be an MSQ cutscene. This isn't part of the dungeon. So it looks like we're in the area that I am tentatively calling Treno, but why is a behemoth here? Why is Kryl struggling against it? Is that the FF9 behemoth design, actually? I do not know FF9 as well as I probably should. That is not quite the behemoth from 9, but it's a 14ized version of the FF9 behemoth design. Okay, cool.
Be wary.
We got the dragon radar. I have no idea what we're tracking down here with this. Like, does the key get broken and we have to find pieces of it? This is the thing I think the most in the dark about MSQ wise. Like, yeah, we're doing Malala stuff. We're finding out about Kryl's parents, about preservation. We're doing that. We're delving into other secrets of Alexandria, that even Galulja and Oblivion might not know about. That's cool. What MacGuffins are we looking for? They've been pretty good with giving us, like, new bespoke explorable areas in the last few patches, so I wouldn't put it past them to, like, just straight up make Treno like the Turncliff or whatever of this expansion. Just like, here's another town. It doesn't do normal town things, but you're gonna be here for a bit, so you could do stuff there. Like, same idea as Zero's Domain, except it's like a recurring location that we can go back to. But yeah, we got some dungeon, presumably dungeon mobs, like Mistwake dungeon enemies, attacking a guy. I mean, like, the crisis could be we get down to Treno, experiments are escaping, and that's it. Like, they're purple. These could be like electro mutated people or something. It could be a similar principle to what the Arcadian fighters use, but like, I don't see regulators on these people. So these are clearly people who've never wanted anything to do with that kind of thing. So maybe this is what happens when you try to like do soul doping without a regulator or something wrong with Electrope. I don't know. I'm spitballing here. Uh, anyway, or like I don't know what the Kryl thing is.
Be wary.
This guy could just be running away from like the actual final boss of the dungeon, and this is the cutscene introducing that. That's a distinct possibility.
The guard now falls upon.
Anyway, here we are fighting something. Is there an FF9 Griffin? I forget how Final Fantasy spells Griffin. Yeah, that kind of looks like the FF9 Griffin. Yeah, that's probably what this is. Anyway, I love to see just like everyone knows Barbarisha is one of the best extremes recently. But I just love random bullshit Go mechanics. Like sometimes I don't want to have to use my mind or solve a puzzle or rely on my opponents, or my teammates. Freudian slip, referring to my PF party members as opponents and not allies, relying on them to not screw something up or coordinate anything. Sometimes I just want to dodge a lot of ground AoEs, and this is a lot of ground AoEs, so I'm pretty happy here. All right, yeah, we got Kryl getting attacked by electricity again. I don't know what's going on. Kryl should not be jobbing this much. Like, I don't want to power scale the Scions. They're all our friends. She's probably among the weaker ones, but like, she's playing Picto. I don't know if like has duty support Kryl had her potencies nerfed when actual Picto was nerfed. That's the real question that we need to be thinking about here, I think. But I don't know how to feel about, like, we got a lot of Kryl in trouble when I feel like she should be able to handle herself. Anyway, I don't know if this is even the final boss of the dungeon. Meso Terminal, it's a pretty good dungeon, I think. Unfortunately, like, what's the field station called? I have the game open. I can check Dawn Trail dungeons. Yue Awada, there we go. Like, I liked most of the Dawn Trail dungeons. I think they're a very massive step up in terms of not putting me to sleep compared to Endwalker ones. Underkeep was a big step back just in terms of everything, but Meso Terminal was pretty good, I think, and the fact that we're seeing that in possibly not even the final boss of the dungeon leads me to believe that, like, unless they screw up the balancing in terms of just raw damage numbers, that Mistwake is also going to be good. Anyway, like, something Electrope bad is happening. Maybe the Calamity of Lightning gets restarted if we're traveling outside the dome and elsewhere onto the 9th. I don't know. Anyway, here's our variant dungeon. It is... I don't know what Yu-Gi-Oh video I watched, but, like, everything in my recommendations is Yu-Gi-Oh right now. Anyway, forget what it is called. The Merchant's Tale. Yeah, so this is... we're going to meet Yanazqua, who is, I believe, the 5th on-screen Y-Tribe sister. So that's neat. Another thing that I was a big fan of 7.3, and I'm probably going to really like 7.4 as well as, stemming from me unironically liking Ymitra more in ARR, I just have an ongoing bit where I rage bait Y'shtola Simps by being like, she's not even the hottest member of her family we've met so far. And 2 patches in a row, we're getting a new half-sister. So now I can say, what do you mean? She's only the 5th hottest member of her family we've met so far. Anyway, she's our escort NPC for this. We're going into, it's a Corvos thing. I don't know if I realized that. I thought it was just like a Thavnair thing, but give us Corvos stuff. If Endwalker was 2 expansions, we would have been to Corvos already. I kind of want to go to Corvos. Like, yeah, I want to go on adventures with Graha. He still hasn't gotten that yet. Hopefully he gets that in 8.0. But he could also take us to visit his home. That would be neat too. Anyway, that's why we got the storybook aesthetic here. And I gotta say, they really pulled it off while still, like, being in the FF14 graphics engine. Yeah, I'm sure the update allowed them to have more flexibility with stuff like this, but they pivoted to cell shading pretty well, in all honesty. I think that game looks pretty good. I'm genuinely impressed. I really, really love the way the sky looks. And, like, I don't think there's anything technically impressive here. I think this is just a bunch of 2D things shoved into the sky, and it still looks really good. So art direction goes a long way. Like, I think the blue part is probably going to be hurting people's eyes. This could be a bit much. Also, there are people in here, so interesting if there's going to be like anything about whether or not these people are real, or like they're basically NPCs that play the role of the characters in the story or whatever. I don't know. I could easily see something like that. Are the notes we get during this going to just be segments of the story and not like logs of lore about a specific location? I think that would be a cool way to do variant dungeon stuff.
An endless
Anyway, though, we got grapes. Let's go.
ocean and ever-changing sky.
We got Fey Mermaid? Music attacks?
First time I saw them, I couldn't believe my eyes.
All right, also, we're talking about like an endless ocean and ever-changing sky. Like, it's talking about, wow, nature, exploration, cool outdoor visuals are cool. But it's voiced, so it's probably nothing to do with the variant dungeon. It might be referring to like someone who was in the dome, being able to see things outside the dome and stuff like that. This could be from the like someone who grew up in the dome, talking about being able to leave and like seeing Tuliolal for the first time. That's a pretty good thing to say here. Like a theory for that
It was
is.
like I was walking among images from our oldest records.
Wait. Am I stupid? Is that Shale? Hold on. I am one of the most ravenous Shale fans in the world. That is not true. There are definitely. Ironically, I think you still might be a more ravenous Shale fan than me. That would make sense. She's been out of the dome. She might be talking about either give us more Shale. The best part about the Underkeep was the fact that we had Shale as our navigator. Like, if we're doing more shard hopping in the next expansion, Shale and Sphene should be the people coming with us, like the new recruits to the Scions. Absolutely. Like, God knows what Urianger and Thancred have been doing since. When was the last time we saw them? I genuinely don't remember. They might have been in 7.1, and I just don't remember. I don't think they were in 2. They definitely weren't in 3. We haven't seen any of them in 4 yet. We might not see them until 8.5 or something. I'm sorry, Urianger and Thancred fans. I'd be happy to see more of them, but also they might be gone for a while. Anyway, what was the point? Like, I'm sorry, Alphino and Alize. I love you. You're my darling younger siblings. I need an expansion without the two of you, please. Like, Team Wooklamont, in the first place in Base Dawn Trail, it should have been us and the Baldessian duo. We didn't also need Alphino and Alize there. Like, narratively, I don't think Alphino contributed anything to 7.0 other than firewood jokes. And like, alright, I get not splitting up the twins again. If they wanted to have the twins split up, it needed to be them being on different teams in the succession contest. But like, yep, they've gotten pretty equal screen time now. Don't need to give favoritism to one over the other. But I think Alize had a slightly bigger reason to be there than Alphino, just purely because they try to do the she's making friends with Wooklamont angle, but that doesn't really go anywhere. It's neat. I think it's a cool character thing that she's like the first Scion to start calling her Lamachi. But then Sphene happens, so Alize and her being friends just kind of goes onto the back burner, I think. But yeah, throw the twins in the hyperbolic time chamber until they're willing to stop being cowards and age them up. That's the thing. We've got a whole Young Avengers team of Scions. We got Reen and Gaia off on the first. we basically, that's what Wooklamot and Sphene are, even if they're probably a bit older than the rest. We got the twins. We got a bunch of other characters who want to adventure with us. They can be our team in a few years after they grow up a bit more. We don't need Alphinaud and Alizé now. Anyway.
It was like I was walking among images.
Like, this is Corvo stuff. I thought it was just Thavnarian, so that makes sense why we're seeing, like, a wider range of cultural inspirations than I first thought. Like, this is cool. Like, biblically accurate headdress. Bird. I like birds. Yes, we got, like... Okay, the twins are here. I didn't remember if they were in this shot. But, like, as far as I can tell, our team for Mistwake is us, Y'shtola, Kryl, G'raha, and Sphene. Unfortunately, Kryl is getting the short end of the stick again because she is the short end of the stick and is not visible here. But it looks like Erenville might be departing for a time. Like, I don't know what Wooklamot standing here next to Erenville means. Is she going with him? Or is she just standing closest to him because they have the closest relationship out of everyone here? I read too much into things. This is where my thoughts are going right now. But yeah, I could see... I changed my mind. I don't think I ever want Erenville to become a combatant. Like, yeah, it would be very easy to make him one of the people who changes jobs for 8.0, but I don't really want that. I think the idea of we just have non-combatant allies who aren't named Tataru, who are good at their own things, is a thing that they should lean more into. Like, that's another reason I want Shell to come with us. Shell's a really good guy in the chair, but I don't think she was ever really a main combatant. Like, as Geode and the pink-haired twins, as far as I could tell, were like they were the main fighting force of Oblivion. I don't remember. Shell probably has a gun somewhere in some cutscene that I'm forgetting, but I like the idea of her being the navigator type techie character. And like, that's another thing. She's good at high-tech stuff. G'raha knows the Crystal Tower well. He's good at more magitech-y stuff. He could do steampunk. I don't know if he could do cyberpunk as well. And depending on what other civilizations in the reflections we find, we could probably use someone who can do cyberpunk well. Also, we got Sphene. If Sphene comes with us, she's probably like a specialist in... Sphene can do politics. That's the thing. If we're ditching Alphinaud for an expansion, we need someone who can do politics. Like, Y'shtola's experience with politics is yelling at the Charlian Forum over and over again. G'raha's experience with politics is beefing with Vothri. So, I don't know how good he would be at that either. That might be Sphene's role for the time being if we're going to be without Leveilleurs. We got just like... Got like, yeah, I guess... I guess Tuliola's finally fine. That's... Wait, hold on. Did I see a new... Whoa! Is that a young Chabral? Hold on a minute. Like, am I stupid? And this is just a short here. Okay, there's no tail. Is that the back of a Pelu Pelu mask? I can't tell, because like... Okay, no, I guess this is just kids are following Wooklamot around because she's good with kids. That makes more sense. Okay, yeah, that is an ear. I thought, I'm completely misinterpreted that. I thought this was, just like bitrate got to me. I thought this was just like somehow just an actual Hrothgar child. But I should have known that they would not make a bespoke model for that. But that's probably fine. Is there anything that can be leaned to this? No, I guess this is establishing shots. Maybe the MSQ starts in Tuliol this time, and the first thing we do is we see Erenville off, and then we're like, hey, we're going to Alexandria for a bit. Hold down the fort for us, Wooklamot. Then, all right. That's got to be just based off of building from Treno, from like the actual Treno, right? This looks like the top of a dome. That's the thing that's driving me crazy. This looks like the top of a domed-in area. But how can we be in the top of a domed-in area when the actual top of the Everkeep Dome is elsewhere. You know? Am I making sense? It something screams to me this is a separate dome that someone else, like elsewhere on the 9th outside of living memory, and not just, hey, we're going somewhere else in Everkeep. Yeah, like we got an entire city. I think those are more NPCs. This screams explorable area to me. It might just be the equivalent to the little bit of Juno we can do with the Alliance raids, but it's something. Yeah, like we got just people doing idle animations and walk cycles in the background. If we get the Kryl version of the Graha boat scene in this patch, I think that'll go a very long way to Kryl being less shafted in her expansion.
There's nowhere else I'd rather be.
Yeah, because like Trano has canals. Like that's a thing with Trano, right? Yeah, Trano does canals. So like, oh wait, yeah, that's what the canal area in living memory was based on. That makes so much sense. Like, I forget exactly what's Canal Town. Like, okay, yeah, we're doing FF14 Venice here, but like, if it's literally the theme park version of another city in Alexandria, like outside the cap, I mean, Trano is not part of Alexandria in FF9. Like, it is a separate place, if I'm remembering correctly. But like, if it's just a different city in the Kingdom of Alexandria, or just another city-state, whatever. Anyway, it is now nighttime in living memory. Yeah, the moon is the normal size there. So, hopefully bad things don't happen with the large moon. Alright, yeah, so evacuation alert, something's attacking. That could be the scenes of the monsters in there as well. Like that's where the behemoth and Kryl getting grounded and struck by lightning are. Though the griffin is definitely a dungeon boss, at least a mini boss. Presumably it's a dungeon boss. Do they usually show dungeon mini bosses in trailers? I don't think so, unless it's a spoiler. All right, then we got what's the trial called? Is it Hell on Rails? I think. Yeah, Hell on Rails is amazing. So we're doing Doom Train again, and yeah, this reminds me of the background of the train summon from Bravely Default. Now I don't remember which summon the train was, because Chris Velger is not that, right? There was a train summon in Bravely Default, right? Like, I'm not. Okay, yeah, Promethean Fire. Yeah. So for those of you who didn't know, Prometheus is a summon in Bravely Default, and it's a demon train that spits fire at enemies. Yeah. Anyway, the background does not remind me of that. It actually reminds me of the background for Susano, who is also a summon in Bravely Default. Susano is actually the ultimate summon, where it's like it is a version of like Japanese mythical figure Susano, but he's a giant and he's in a wasteland with a bunch of like these towers, and he picks one up and uses that as his sword to attack. That's what it makes me think of. But yeah, like this area here, like the background here, that has Heritage Found vibes. So I might be wrong. And we might be Trano might be another, like, subdome. It might be a Yue Awada situation, where we're just going somewhere in Heritage Found. And not, like, anywhere outside the dome or outside the shard or something. But I'm trying to remember. Do towers like that exist in Heritage Found? Like, this is very Alexandrian looking train tracks. In fact, I'm gonna... Okay, yeah, so it's Alexandrian looking train tracks. But A, the power lines look completely different than the ones in Heritage Found. And B, like, yeah, there's some train stuff in Heritage Found, but it's all, like, Tuliolal made trains. The tracks are in disrepair and don't have any of this stuff. They're like, I don't know. Okay, but I'm also looking, and after the Yasulani Station Aetheryte, the train tracks just go in a tunnel that's blocked off. So there's a chance that we just clear the wreckage from that tunnel and we take the train elsewhere. And because Trano is somewhere else, they built up different things. Like, yeah, that platform there. Some of this stuff just looks like electrope mining equipment. So I'm still not completely sure, because, like, they would have mined electrope outside of the part of the 9th that got merged into Heritage Found, you know? I don't think there are train cars handling. Yeah, it's more like floating platforms and stuff that do the electro mining. I could be tabbing over to my game, but you're forgetting that this is the low effort one take that's technically a 2-take trailer because I accidentally paused the recording. Yeah, they use mine carts. They don't use trains. This is at least new conceptually. But yeah, like they already said, all right, we're going to try to make this different from the existing train fight. It certainly looks different. This looks more like a follow-up to Diamond Weapon than anything, like with the teleporters and the positioning based on a platform, that kind of thing. Like you have an up and a down instead of a left platform and a right platform. Yeah, this could be a very interesting trial. We got another very funny tank buster, and then we just go to the train signal dimension. I have no idea what this is here. Is this why this is here? Is this the arena for an ad phase? Is this just a place you get isekai'd to and then run over by the train, and that's the ultimate attack? Like, it is clearly a circular arena. So, do you do mechanics here? Is this a downtime thing? I have no idea. But I'm excited for any trial that does that.
Oh, lion.
Yeah, so this is confirmation that these are the people coming with us to Trano.
Flourish on
Yeah, so we're fighting the behemoth. Yeah, we might get Xenoblade 2'd by this behemoth, if this is the final dungeon boss. And I was wrong about the Griffin. Because, like, oh, we beat it in the dungeon, and then it gets back up and almost, like, knocks Kryl over in the cutscene, and we're about to protect her, and then it gets shot by the Trano gun, or whatever, I don't know. But what I do see is Kryl in focus, destitute-looking Milala. I don't know if we've ever seen this emblem before. Unless that's just the Alexandria emblem and I'm being stupid again. Is that all? Yeah, and then she's doing a drippy canvas. Where'd the drippy canvas come from? I don't think the drippy canvas is going to be our level 110 ability in 8.0. We're getting, like, a unique Kryl thing, so I'm wondering, like, it's water-based, so is she not just using conjurer abilities when she heals now? Does Kryl have, like, a healer version of Picto? And basically, what I'm getting at is, I think we're getting the cryo solo duty here, which is a really good thing. Yeah, okay, completely makes sense that the solo duty we get in 7.0 is the Luke Lamont one. Like, that, not a problem with that at all. But we could have also gotten a cryo one, and we could have gotten a cryo one sooner. So I'm glad we have this now. I'm assuming this is just going around. This is a water summon and the building's on fire. So we might be doing... Are we getting environmental interactions finally? Like, does Cryo have more element-based paintings than we do as playable Picto? Is like, she's probably going to put out the fire with this water. That's kind of neat. It's like, not a major thing, but just like dynamic environment interactions in NPC solo duties, I think is a new thing, which is cool. But yeah, I'm like, Sphene might be the class change. If Sphene comes with us, she's probably the class change for 8.0. So that's cool. I don't remember where I was going with that. Never mind. Oh wait, no, yeah, I remember. If Sphene's coming with us, she's probably the one class changing for 8.0. Give Sphene a gun. Make her the Fizz range. That would be hilarious. But I think there's also a good chance that we get a Sphene solo duty in 7.5 or 5.5. It just seems right to me. We got cosmic exploration stuff. Cool robot. But I have not done... I'm nowhere near caught up on cosmic exploration. The only... Going back to what I said before, the most important thing about cosmic exploration is we got a new Stola. Not Stola, we got a new Y-Sister to meme about. Yeah, so we got... Sphene has a warding scale here. And we're in the darkness. Like, got a pretty dark background here. So I'm wondering what this... I wonder what this is about. If we're going somewhere where we need to resist ethereal corruption, that does lend credence to we're going to the bad parts of the ninth. Like, I might be just pulling things out of my butt here, but I seem to remember Yoshi P saying something along the lines of the trial not being the finale to the MSQ this time. That has me thinking, are we setting out to go to Traino? We fight the train along the way. Like, this could be the Traino train. I don't remember, what's the... I forget what the lore behind the Doom train in FF9 is. Or is that... No, yeah, because it's not from FF9. This is the FF8 Doom train. Forgot about that. There isn't a train in 9. Kind of interesting that we're just doing an 8 fight, but I mean, I guess, like, all right, we didn't do that in the FF8 raid series, so it's fair game. That's what I'm coping at least. Like, the irradiated areas of the ninth look like Heritage Found because Heritage Found is teleporting the irradiated areas of the ninth into Yasulani. You know, like, it doesn't, like, we're not in Solution 9. We're in the place Solution 9. Sorry. We're not in Heritage Found. We're in the place Heritage Found looks like. See, like, we take the train to Traino, and then the dungeon's actually after the trial. And, like, the Cryo solo duty is the climax of the patch. That, I think, would be very cool. Like, do I want 8.0 to shake up the formula and not do the exact same thing we've been doing since Heavensward? Oh, absolutely. But even just doing things in a weird order within a patch would be a welcome shake-up of the formula. Yeah, but like, if Sphene has her warding scale, then that means we're going somewhere where she'd need the warding scale. Unless Doom Train is a primal, that's possible. She wouldn't need it unless we're we're going into an irradiated part of the ninth, and if Traino's in a separate dome, that makes sense. Yeah, but she's not just pulling it out to look at, it is also activating. And considering she seems to be standing on solid ground throughout all of this, like, this isn't her reaction to Doom Train appearing. I also can't tell what's in the background here. It doesn't look like we're in the Traino Dome. But it also looks like we're just actually surrounded by wisps of dark. I don't know. We'll see where this goes. And we got old. They remembered that they have an old Lalafell model. So yeah, like, all right, like, Kryl is doing like doing the hand holding thing here with this woman. I think Kryl is related to her. Like, we don't know if she was an only child or not. That's a very easy thing for her parents, for the endless versions of her parents, to have just coincidentally not brought up. Like, did they get? I forget what happened to them. Like, after they gave her to Galuf, did they die or did they just go back into the portal? I don't think they died. Anyway, I'm thinking that, like, they either had another kid prior to Kryl, or they had one after they went back to the ninth, and this woman is a descendant of that kid who, like, actually lived through the entire time, relative to the source.
Will always be in my heart.
Frontlines. Wow. It's my favorite mode to only play once a day for the roulette when there's a new patch coming out soon and I need to fill out my battle pass. Alright, then we just got the new Phantom jobs. I think Mystic Knight is one of them. That's another thing I want to say. If the new tank is Mystic Knight doing magic tank stuff, like in a different flavor from Paladin, that would be just absolutely perfect. Yeah, okay, so Mystic Knight from 5. Yeah. If they do that, I'd really like that. Like, I have no idea what the Fizz ranged is. It could be a reworked Corsair or something like that. Like, if we get the Fizz range version of Red Mage, and it's like a swashbuckler who uses pistols and a cutlass, I'd be 100% down for that. But Mystic Knight tank, we go back to this boss from the variant dungeon. I'm coping. But, like, okay, clearly, there's a lot of reused animations from Samurai here. But I think that stance is unique. I don't think that's just a ported over Paladin stance. That is slightly different. And even if there's no new animations here and we're just rocking Samurai stuff, there's a lot of new visual effects in this boss. So it would be weird if they, like, this is a really, really high quality looking thing to just be used on one effect in a variant boss, is the way I'm seeing it. And like, oh, they're using Samurai and Paladin animations for a sword job they haven't finished implementing into the game yet. Alizé was a Paladin as a Red Mage for one fight. Thancred was a Paladin when he was supposed to be Thancred was a Gladiator, sorry, when he was supposed to be a rogue. They've done this before. I'm allowed to cope. I have room to cope here. I don't know what we're doing here. Like, I don't know why we're fighting a Kraken in Air Force One. Why are we doing Air Force One outside the Gold Saucer? Anyway, we got raid stuff. We got hard... Which one is that, actually? Is that Hildebrand? Or is that Hard-Boiled wearing a different outfit? Also, who is that? Looks like there's... Okay, no. Yeah. Okay, so we do just have a motorcycle chase, it looks like. That's great. Okay, so, like, it looks like this person left the person he's chasing left a bomb behind. Like, Is it a Nashu exploding egg? Is that what we're doing here? I don't know. Anyway, we got the Akira slide. That's neat. Slightly confusing, but very funny cut here from this into, I guess, also a flat. Like, I'm assuming the Hildebrand scene is in black and white because of the noir vibes. And this is just extremely desaturated flashback vision for whatever reason. Where alright. This is gonna bother me. We have the new elf guy jumping off a flying car. Alright, fair enough. Looks like, and then we have this shot from above where this looks like a sword, not a flying car. Which is weird because I don't think he uses a sword as a weapon, period. And who are we jumping down onto? There's 4 people, there's 4 figures I can definitely see here. But like, this looks like the succubus. I think this is one of the duo guys. Or Brute Bomber again. I can't tell who this is. And I can't tell who this, like, I can't. Is this the guy jumping down on top of the other people from his tier? Is this a flashback to him, like, one-shotting a bunch of other strong fighters? I don't know. Anyway. He's got axe. The cool axe. And then we've got... Alright, yeah, we're in the same mansion-looking setting that the Eutrope tube was in before, so that's probably connected. Like, we might break into the president's mansion, and we find her in the tube or something. But look at that, we got Yana fighting without a regulator, and she's using monk weapons. Interesting. Oh, hey, look at that. We got Sugar Riot. Did we ever learn her real name? I don't remember. In the background without a regulator, and she's using a gun. I think we also learned Dancing Green's name, but I forgot his too. I'm sorry. And if we look at a couple of the frames, we can see that he's using dancer weapons. Also, wait, can Monk do... Why can Yana do this, but not us? Where's my Monk projectile? That isn't, like, part of a major cooldown. Yeah, then up there, we got Honeybee. She's not wearing a regulator. And she's got a spear, which is just a smaller version of a spear from her actual fight, which, okay, fair enough. Then we got John Cena, who's not wearing a hat or a regulator, and he's got a greatsword. Like, we got... Also, I don't know why it becomes unsepia... the saturation comes back for some reason. But... Yeah, so... These are going to be our weapons. Like, these are the savage weapons. Yana's is the monk weapon. That's the Dark Knight weapon. B's got the Dragoon weapon. We always knew we were going to get the B Lance as a Dragoon weapon as soon as we fought her. But I think it's kind of cool that, like, all the other fighters, they're actually their own versions of an actual job in the game. And that's why we get their weapons. And it... Okay, I mean, he's not exactly a Dark Knight. He's literally not a Dark Knight. Dark Knight quests involved fighting in, like, vaguely gladiatorial fighting, I think. That there was something about, like, pit fighting in Ishgard in a Dark Knight quest or something. I'm not crazy. Anyway, Getsuga Tensho into... I can't believe they're giving us Shale and her in the same expansion. I can't really say, oh, we've been missing elf women for so long, considering Amelia was 6.0. But, I don't know. I mean, like, I miss Estelle. I think that's just what it boils down to. That is one of the reasons I like Shale so much. It, like, a proper main character voiced Duskwhite who is important enough to be on a patch poster, that means something to me, you know?
I will hear you scream.
Yeah, anyway, we got, like, everyone's wearing regulators and they're going red again. So, like, what's up with that? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of them took their regulators off immediately. Like, we just straight up convinced a bunch of people to stop wearing them. So, we don't really know how this matches up MSQ wise, but who knows what their deal with the Neo regulators was. I don't think it really matters. The point is, people who shouldn't be wearing them are wearing them again. And like, I'm guessing that we're gonna have to do, like, we're gonna unbrainwash all the other fighters, and then they're gonna team up with us to fight the president of the Arcadian, or just Metem. I think it would be very funny if we fight Metem. Because here, everyone, I don't think he's actually coming back this time, as funny as it would be. He is just here because we are seeing all of the fighters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There should be 12 other elf guys on the top fighting Meteor. So that's why he's not here in this spread. But yeah, I think they're like, something's gonna happen. The regulators are gonna brainwash them or something. It's gonna start like hastening the effects of the disease in some people, and that's gonna be a bad thing, obviously. And then either before or after that, we actually fight alongside them against them. Look, I don't need to say it. But yeah, forgot to, somehow made it this far without mentioning we got Rage Against the Machine in our Final Fantasy 14, which is amazing. I don't know how they pulled that off, but thank you, Jason Charles Miller, for playing D&T with more famous people than I thought you did. Which is saying something because he was on Critical Role before. But yeah, that's the thing. I don't know what fight this song goes with, because I'm sure all 4 fights are going to have unique songs, and I'm also sure they wouldn't make the, like, when I say they're flexing the fact that they got Tom Morello on a song for their MMO, I'm not saying that as a pejorative. This is something they should be flexing. The live letter was as bloated as usual, but they deserved to be able to gloat about this for as long as they did. But like, did they add more stuff here? Okay, that's just guest artists. Okay, we did get the next opponents for all of these guys. We did not get their name. I forget what their names are, because I think we learned her name and we learned their names. Like, Yoshi P fought these guys, so we learned their names for that, but I don't remember. I know there was a screenshot, at least in Japanese, that showed her name, and I don't remember if it was from the live letter or not. I think her name was Vamp something, even though she's technically a vampire, not a succubus. But does it actually say anything? Oh, I could have looked at the website if I wanted to remember what the disease was. It's Cyclone Crosis. I'm actually able to read it now. That's cool. Anyway. What are their stuff? All right. And then, yeah, he's Behemoth. Again. Okay, it makes sense. Like, I think they're going for FF6 Behemoth in the gladiatorial ring with him. But yeah, that's the thing. Okay. I did not read this. I did not read this. That, okay, the finale of the raid series is going to be Everything Burns. I was going to go into a whole massive theorizing whether or not Everything Burns was the elf guy fight or a different fight. But like, yeah, the point being, they're not going to use their Tom Morello song on the Savage exclusive phase. They want people to be able to hear this, and fair enough. But yeah, I guess that actually means that none of these fights are going to have that song, because like, yeah, none of these guys are close. This guy is probably the ultimate champion of the Arcadian, but he's not gonna be the final boss. They're not gonna do that. There has to be a twist somewhere. But like, I'm sorry. If this is going where I think we're going, and we have to fight the president, are we actually going to get to beat up Vince McMahon to a song by the guitarist from Rage Against the Machine? Because it's like quite possibly the most based thing a video game has ever done. Like, I don't know. There's no other way to describe that. Anyway, Big Axe. I'm assuming that these are just, yeah, that's just an impact thing for the trailer, because he's slamming his axe. Okay, I thought I saw someone like an actual warrior in the party doing Primal Ruination as well, but yeah, okay, that's just cinematic stuff for the trailer. Whoa, the guy summoned. Okay, so he might also use certain abilities, like mechanics from the other fights, because he is using Howling Blade Sword as well here. But crazy, the boss summoned multiple copies of his weapon? That's never happened before. But he does also throw a pillar at us. It's been a while since we got buildings chucked at us. I think it was about time. Also, hold on a second. Is that his raid wide? Because there's no floor indicator here. Okay, no, those people doing a damage animation definitely got hit by it, but it looks like more people got damaged than got hit. So I'm not sure if just chucking the pillar at the entire arena is a raid wide. That would be pretty awesome. Can't really tell what's going on, mostly because of the sage particle effects. It looks like we're still in the same background. So he hasn't done a background check, but yeah. I don't know, like it's some. I'm thinking like maybe the raid of where we find the Eutrope tube comes after. Like we do the 3 fights to claim the heavyweight division title, and then we like get to actually go to the special living quarters for the champions. And that's where that stuff happens. But because like they're all fighting together in what looks like yeah, they're in the mansion. They have the mansion background here. But this looks like a boss arena. Because this over here doesn't look connected to anything in here. And this looked rounded. It looks like we're in a circular raid boss arena. Where the Eutrope scene looks like this is more of a cutscene room. Although it is very possible in the later scene we're just not seeing everything because of the zoom or whatever. Where and like there are tubes just on the back wall where the camera's facing. That's the other thing. I think there's a small chance that we're actually going to get duty support for the final fight. Because everyone here is just using an actual weapon. And most of their animations are like just ripped from actual jobs. Retsara! That's Howling Blade's name. Now I remember. That's awesome. Awesome. I'm going to actually just straight up look up if we learn Dancing Green and Sugar Ride. Ahia. Okay, I don't know if I actually knew that. Maybe his name was not revealed in-game anywhere. I know Retsara was. I'm just stupid and forgot. But anyway, the only thing is, if we're doing duty support, where do we get 7 people from? Because we're rescuing Eutrope. And we don't have Brute Bomber. So from the first 2 tiers, we should only have 5 people. And like those are the 5 people we see. Like we have Yana, we have B, and then we have every living fighter from the last tier. But if we're doing duty support, what comes after that? Because we got 3 people from this tier who could potentially join us, and I don't think they'd make 8 people unless they needed to do that to like do the role split. Also, okay, hold on, could anyone else tank? No one's a healer, and could anyone else tank? That might be the problem. Maybe they'll just be like NPCs in a solo duty and not that, because I can't really see. I mean, I guess she could theoretically be healer. I guess one of these guys could be a healer. I kind of doubt it. I don't think Surfer Himbos make good healers, but if they're lifeguards, they could be lifeguards. That would make them good healers. Never mind. Well, and the other elf guy, he's a warrior. So if we do get everyone on our side, then that would be 8 people, but we might have to swap someone out depending on what role the player is. I don't know. I think it would be really cool to do something like that. Like, we got duty support trials. They kind of had to very, very heavily massage the plot to make both Valagarmonda and Zeralja duty support trials. Shout out to just randomly running into all of the Scions as we're running up Everkeep. I do think, like, okay, yeah, all our party members come together to fight the big boss in Everkeep is one thing. I think it's contrived that everyone actually ended up being there. I don't think Estinian was even contacted by anyone. I think he just started running at the dome when it appeared, if I remember correctly. Anyway, that's not the point. You would think that I'd think it was more contrived that we happened to have a bunch of people to fight Valagarmonda. But, like, not really. I mean, like, Thancred, Urianger, and Kona, they absolutely, like, they'd help with that. Kona is a friendly rival for the entire competition. And it is weird that Zeralja would team up, but I think it's cool that we do have a future, like, major boss as a party member. Like, the second trial boss fights alongside us for the first trial, and I think that's neat. But that has nothing to do with 7.4 or the Arcadian or anything like that. I do think it's cool. If I remember, get to see all the gear here. That can't be the raid gear, right? There's no way they'd give us this as the raid gear. They're not. They can't possibly give us these as the weapons when all of those characters have bespoke exclusive weapons to them, right? Unless I'm... Hold on. Am I getting disappointed in real time here? Where's the crafted gear? That's glamour stuff. I love this tome gear, by the way. This is the kind of steampunk aesthetic that I live for. Like, this is very, very close to the Xenoblade 1 Trails in the Sky type of steampunk. Crafted gear is the magical girl weapons. I forgot about the green theme. We're getting green. I might need to change my name to my game to green because I think that's really funny. Is that a new hairstyle? No, emote. I love being able to see the progression of their technical prowess and just ability to make good graphics by how good the like domestic animal minions look. But anyway, why don't I see the fighter's actual weapons here? Hold on a minute. Let's... Reaper, Astro, Bard, Viper. Icto and yeah, that's Monk and Warrior there. Why aren't we seeing Yana and the other guy's weapons? Like, are they going to be crafted weapons in the future? Or are they just going to dump those into the cash shop? They're going to be very mad if they dump them into the cash shop. Now, see where I got Crypt Lurker earring? I think he is. We got a weird amount of NPCs just kind of wearing Crypt Lurker earrings for no reason. This expansion too. Like, I think somewhat like, didn't the antagonist for the Viper quest line also just have Crypt Lurker gear on for no reason? Like, how are you guys getting this stuff? I don't think like that is stuff from the first. Anyway, there is also the possibility that I am like mostly wrong and that these aren't new weapon models. Yana's have to be new. But Sugar Riot could be using a gun we've seen before. Yeah, I can't tell what those chakrams are. But like, that is definitely a new weapon. Besides being in the Honeybee Lovely fight. I'm almost certain that sword is a new weapon too. Like, if anything, the sword does look the most like the raid gear here. But also, like, come on. I could take it or leave it with the armor, but the fact that the weapons just... Why are we getting nerf weapons from the final tier? I do not understand that. But yeah. What else is happening here? Like, I don't 100% know how to feel about them changing the variant and criterion system in this way specifically, but I love I hate the fact that they remove trash from anything other than normal difficulty variant. However, I think the idea of being able to do a boss rush in any order and like required multiplayer content that you do not need an entire light party for, I think that is extremely cool. This kind of thing is more about what Quantum should have been, I think. I've never actually done Tsukiyomi Extreme Sync. Is this difficult enough where I like actually need to research a lot before doing it in Party Finder? I don't know. I also do not have gear. That's the other thing. I did MSQ for 7.2 and 7.3, and that's more or less it. Because Xenoblade happened like right on top of the 7.2 raid tier, so I wasn't about to do that when I needed to make Xenoblade content. But do I have anything else to say? Like, I think they cooked pretty well with 7.2 and 7.3. I'm cautiously optimistic for 8.0. Arcadian's been good the entire time. I like what I see of the dungeon. The trial seems interesting. I like the fact that they're shaking up the formula. I think the variant seems cool. Hopefully something I said actually happens. But until next time, this is Luxon, signing off.